Southern Utah is one of America's most popular tourist destinations, with spectacular wonders like Monument Valley, Mexican Hat, and natural bridges. But there's an area that doesn't get as much attention. Where Utah and Colorado meet with Arizona and New Mexico is the Four Corners region. Despite the border's political importance, the area has far greater cultural significance. I headed east from Monument Valley and in 2 hours came to Hovenweep National Monument, my first stop in this trip. A small park of only 20 miles radius, Hovenweep is the site of ancient Pueblo ruins, some dating from 700 to 1200 years ago. A very accessible 1.5 mile trail loops around the ancient village, all perched on the edge of a small valley. This skull-like formation stands guard to one of the feature attractions of the area, the Hovenweep Castle. The castle is surrounded on both sides by towers, with a clear view of the Little Ruin Canyon below. The guard of the castle stands on duty. Nobody can escape the watchful eye of the raven, protecting his domain and the spirits of the ancients. From Hovenweep, it was just a few miles to Colorado and the Canyons of the Ancients National Monument. With free dispersed camping, this would be my base camp for the area. Look for a sign that says Painted Hand, about 10 miles east of the Hovenweep Information Center. The dirt road is in reasonable shape, but it does have some rocky parts in the upper plateau. Some spots are a little confined, but perfect for a small trailer. Well, my backup skills were a little rusty, and I cleaned my taillight with a bush twice. But the third time was the lucky one, and I finally got in there. Well, this spot's a little bit of a tight squeeze, but it's got a great view. Back in the Hovenweep area, there was one more trail I wanted to try, the Horseshoe and Hackberry Trail. Here at Hackberry, the ruins are framed by the Shiprock Mountain from distant New Mexico. The Horseshoe area offers good opportunities to explore the ruins up close and marvel at the unique architecture and brickwork that stood the test of time for hundreds of years. While viewing the ruins through twisted junipers, something caught my eye. It was an eastern-collared lizard, probably one of the most stunning reptiles I've ever seen. Its front legs looked like yellow flowers, a strategy that was perfect to lure insects. This was a modern dinosaur, evolved into the Lizard King. But he wasn't the only predator around. Back at camp, there was one more ruin I needed to see, the one that was called Painted Hand. It's really hard to make out. There's 2 handprints right over there. Invisible to those less observant, I have enhanced the image to show 3 handprints. Are they hands to greet, to warn, to heal, or say goodbye? The people have vanished, but their shadows remain. Do you hear that? That's the sound of the world at peace. No jets, no trucks, no generators, just a gentle wind and me talking. And I'm going to shut up and enjoy this. But the tranquility was lost as my Jeep motor growled down the rugged road to my next destination. I had one more journey into the past ahead of me. About 1 hour southeast of Canyons of the Ancients was a dispersed campsite right before Mesa Verde National Park. While not a spectacular view as my last campsite, this road was well groomed and easy to access. I chose a modest spot close to the entrance, as I wasn't expecting to spend too much time in the trailer. Mesa Verde was just right across the highway. There's 2 good reasons why I camped outside the park.
Good morning. Good.
One is that Mesa Verde doesn't allow towed trailers past the first campground, and even give you a spot to unhitch for day travel. I didn't ask, but I assume the trailer ban had something to do with this long, narrow tunnel with limited clearance. It could also be due to the 20 miles of winding road to the upper mesas. But I was happy to leave the trailer in the valley, just so I could enjoy these amazing views. The yellow cliffs of Soda Canyon are spectacular to see. But if you look a little closer, you'll see that it's dotted with dwellings tucked into the cracks. In the Navajo Canyon, perched under a precarious cliff, this is a village called Square Tower House. Even from a distance, the achievements of the Ancestral Pueblo people is something to behold. For self-guided tours, a good choice is the Mesa Top Loop. It has an abundance of cliff dwellings nestled in the eroded sandstone pockets of Cliff Canyon. It is said that over 100 people lived in Cliff Palace, which is open to guided tours in the summer season. Using exhibits from the museum, I try to convey the world 1,000 years ago. Any time of year you can appreciate the color. However, spring is the time of rebirth after a long, cold winter. While probing the undergrowth for clematis, I found another surprise in the bushes. Wild turkeys. Not the cutest birds around, but doing well in this protected environment. But I'd spent too much time near parking lots and needed a good hike. Petroglyph Point Trail is about 2¼ miles round trip. While not what I'd call a strenuous walk, it does have a few dips and overhangs that you have to maneuver through. The dark streaks are called desert varnish. Oxides in the rocks dissolve into black deposits from centuries of spring runoff. Proof of the water's power is everywhere. I especially like this formation, a twisted ghoul with bad teeth. But the decay and erosion of the sandstone was a blessing to the ancients, as it gave them shelter from the rain and the elements. There are guided tours to a lot of the cliff dwellings. Unfortunately, they don't run in the wintertime, so I'm a little bit early for that. But some of the trails do have some intimate spots that you can rest and sort of try to experience what happened so many years ago. It is a very spiritual place. In my mind, the ultimate way to feel the spirit of the ancients is to experience it through their art. The symbols and designs carved on the rocks tell a story of a time long past. A mountain sheep, eagle, and human hands, all symbols of the clans of the Pueblo people who migrated here. A whipping kachina on the left and a green collared lizard on the right are framed by migrating routes. Although interpreted as the Parrot clan, I see ravens in this petroglyph. Whatever the story is, it's an astounding legacy from a great people. But the raven tells me it's time to go. A lone lizard watches my exit before vanishing into the woods. Well, I hope you enjoyed this and check out my other videos as well. Always go where the road takes you, or in this case, where the trail takes you. I always appreciate the thumbs up, and please don't forget to subscribe.